Welcome back to Riley Everyday, and today we finish our countdown to the top 5 storylines in the Big 12 with number 1. Who else but Houston? More specifically, how can they get back to the Final Four? So under Kelvin Sampson, Houston has become one of the most dominant and one of the most consistent programs in the country. You have to go back to 2020 to find a year in which they didn't finish top 5 on KenPom. And during that time span, they have made 3 Elite Eights and 2 Final Fours. So just a word of advice when you make your bracket picks, just blindly select Houston to the second weekend because they go there every single year. And last season was no different. From December 7th onward, the Cougs went 31-2 and showed all the traits of your typical great Houston teams, namely mobile bigs, multiple shot-making guards, dominance on the offensive glass, and that suffocating brand of defense. It culminated with their first appearance in the title game since 1984, and though they came up just short against Florida, they return a lot of production and should be right back in the conversation this year. So, the question arises, how do they not just get back to the Final Four, but this time around finish the job? It starts with their 3 impact returners. You've got Milos Uzan, who withdrew from the NBA draft to run the point once more for the Cougs. And last season, we saw him exhibit more aggressiveness on the offensive end than ever before in his career. Through his first 2 seasons, he scored 17 or more points in just 3 contests, but last year he eclipsed that number 7 times. Next to him in the backcourt, you have Emmanuel Sharp, who's one of the most confident snipers in the country. He already has over 200 career 3-point makes and will only add to that number this year. And then in the front court, you have Jojo Tugler, who's one of the best defensive big men out there. He might even be the nation's best defender. He can slide his feet on the perimeter, will get you some steals, and he's an emphatic shot blocker. But the real upside for this team lies in its star-studded freshman class. Take top 10 forward Chris Sinak, for instance. He's this awesome stretch big who's super mobile, super fluid, runs the court exceptionally well, and he already has a chiseled frame. He's one of the rookies I'm most excited to watch in the sport, partially because how he'll fit next to Tugler. He's much more offensively minded, but he'll still guard you as well. I just think this pairing is going to be really fascinating to track. Then you have Isaiah Harwell in the backcourt, the one-time top 10 prospect who really saw his career take a hit with an ACL tear as a junior, but he's been returning to form ever since. He's the type of guard, though, I think that Houston fans should love from the jump. At 6'6", he's just so physical. He's not afraid to back down smaller guards, and he will cook you in the mid-range. Plus, he's been working on that 3-point jumper, and it's looking pretty good. Then finally, you have Kingston Flemings, a top 25 point guard. I think he's going to be a menace at the point of attack almost immediately. And then on the other end, he's super quick with the ball in his hands. He can blow by pretty much anyone, and he gives you some above the rim athleticism in the backcourt as well. And now I think he comes off the bench just because Harwell's a better fit next to both Uzan and Sharp, just offers a little more versatility. But Flemings is good enough to be the Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year. He's going to be a spark off the bench on both sides of the court whenever Uzan sits. But in order for Houston to return to the Final Four, those freshmen have to hit the ground running. They don't have the luxury of easing into it because Houston didn't add any impact players out of the portal. Now, part of that might have been by design, but it's still worth noting just because they don't have that adjustment period. Now, luckily, they have one of the best coaches in the sport who I trust to maximize them. It's just going to be interesting to monitor because this sport continues to get older. Shooting is another area to watch as Houston hit 39.4% of its long-distance attempts a season ago, which tied the highest mark of Sampson's tenure. I don't expect them to repeat that, so that makes improvements inside the arc imperative, specifically Uzan. He's got to get more efficient finishing at the rim, and he needs to draw more fouls. And then with both Harwell and Flemings, you need their rim pressure to translate immediately. All in all, I don't really know who's doubting Kelvin Sampson anymore. This team is going to be top 5 unless something catastrophic happens. They have a great shot to get back. It just comes down to these future pros. Can they take them to another level? Can they help Sampson punctuate his career with the national title? That's what we watch the games for.